Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Stygian, Reign of the Old Ones, blind. Now I'm here back at the hotel because some of the cult members said that there was a miracle happening on the roof. So... Oh. Okay, so I guess this is about the man that the father in the blasted alley wrote about. That a man called Hines used to stay here. He blinks a couple of times, as if this might help him recollect. I remember that name, monsieur. He opens the hotel register and begins flipping through the pages in an elegant manner. Ah, yes. Hines, the inventor from out of town. He was here to meet Monsieur Griffith, for business, I assume. How could I forget his constant bragging about entrepreneurship, and of course his new patent? Oh, senor, that patent of his. Small man, big mouth, if you'll excuse my language, strolling around with his suitcase all the time, badgering the hotel guests whenever he had the chance. Any idea what was the patent for? I would rather pay attention... it was rather hard to pay attention to what Monsieur Hines was throwing at you, but I guess it involved some kind of occupational hazard prevention something? If you inquire about something like how a honeymoon breakfast should be served, you'd be surely getting better information, monsieur. No honeymoons in Arkham, though. Not anymore. Who is this Griffith? You haven't heard of him, monsieur. He is the owner of Griffith Cotton Company. He was once one of the most influential men in Arkham, a leading industrialist. I also heard he was a pretty demanding person, especially to his workers, if you know what I mean. I kinda do, cause it's what, 1920? Like, the reconstruction is probably barely done. Like, in some ways, like, after the Civil War in the States, when black people got emancipated, it didn't really change super drastically for many of them, because all of the freed slaves were A, incredibly poor, and B, incredibly all of the former slave owners were ridiculously pissed. So, lynching was a pretty much everyday common occurrence, and things like when black people tried to run for office or even vote, they could get lynched, and they were hired back as workers for backbreaking labor for almost nothing. Like, I've read that sometimes they essentially entered what was contractual slavery anyway, because they have only been paid in food, so it didn't, technically you weren't owned by your employer, but it kinda looked like it, because he gave you accommodation and he gave you food, and that's it. That's your life. Work for him now. So I think I do know what you mean, actually. So, is there anything else this humble servant of the Essex Hotel can assist you with? Do you know where I can find this Hines? Let me think. I recall seeing him leave the hotel on the night of the special screening. Monsieur Griffith sent forth an automobile to take him to Arkham Theatre. With his suitcase that he held so dear, he left for the night. Did he ever reach that theatre? That night, monsieur, it was right before everything went downhill. I can't remember much about what happened next. For a short while, he seems to be struggling with an unseen force shrouding his memories, until it becomes apparent that he has lost that battle once again, a battle that no resident of the town could ever win. Whatever, monsieur, I've learned that the worst nightmares are the ones you wake up to. We're still in the same nightmare, all of us. Whether we remember, or whether or not we remember when we fell asleep. In which room did Hines stay? As you already know, the privacy of our guests is inviolable, monsieur, but... He clears his throat regretfully. The room that he stayed in, 104, is unfortunately lacking a door at the moment, so it's hard to preserve any kind of privacy in that room, I'm afraid. Special screening? It was the talk of the town for quite some time, monsieur. A foreign entrepreneur coming to Arkham for a very exquisite event, the screening of a moving picture for a select audience, the creme de la creme of Arkham. Mayor Anderson, Chief Constance, Mr. Griffith, and Father Grayson, conservative old gentleman that he was, attended the event. Never saw them again. He nervously adjusts his bow tie. I sometimes can't help but wonder, monsieur, would things would have been different if they had been around after the Black Day? We will never know. Where is the theatre? To the northwest, monsieur, on High Street, or Pilgrim's Parish as it is now called. And I've heard awful things about that place. Those cultists. The shadow of fear has fallen over his eyes now. We Lafayettes have in the past have had our own share of peculiarities, but those fanatics, they are a different breed. Once in a while, some of them stay at the hotel. The things they do to each other, monsieur. Rituals of mass debauchery, torture worshipping, things you would kill yourself to forget. I'd better head to that theater, but before I do, I will go to the room, and also I will try going to the roof. 104. I think... who do you think that dismal man is? Any ideas? Whoever he is, he will do us no good. Yet here we are, tracing his footsteps, playing his game of riddles. The statuette you found with the cryptic poem. It's a depiction of Cthulhu, one of the great old ones, a devourer of worlds, a cold-blooded deity fanatically worshipped by the deviant cult you people formed after the Black Day. I suspect the dismal man is indeed a servant of Cthulhu, perhaps even a high priest, or even one of his star spawn, assuming a human form. Yet the real question is, what does he want with us? We'll find the answer at the end of our road. If we make it to the end of our road, stranger. Heinz hazard suit brochure. Even a storm or an earthquake couldn't have easily caused such destruction, but these times the reckless debauchery of the current lodgers can easily account for it. Okay, let's read that brochure. This gay advertisement presents the hazard outfit in such a way as to compel even the most negligent factory owners into placing an order. Do your workers frequently get afflicted with Monday fever? Do your most experienced foremen cough their way to the afterlife? Protect them with Heinz Company patented worker suits. Ensure consistent production and keep incomes stable. Okay, so it's like an early hazmat suit. So I guess I have to, either way, I have to... well, I still want to get to the roof, but either way I have to get into the Arkham Theater if I want to survive Blasted Alley. The things this place does to your mind. I swear the mountain wasn't there when I started my watch. Is that Cthulhu? Judging by the state of this guy's head, I would say so. I have to pause for a second to take care of my dog, so be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, you're kinda dead. You haven't the slightest clue as to what might be brooding gloatingly above our heads, scuppering watchfully beyond the limbo that has wreathed over this dying town. Is that it? Or is there something new to do? I think that's it. Somebody saw Cthulhu from the roof of the hotel. I guess that would qualify as a miracle for the cult. Not fanatics of the cult. I'll try fleeing them. I don't see much point in fighting them. Especially because they are actually pretty strong. His attack was called Kiss the Ground, Heathen. Thanks to Sonia Green Carter. Where is she? Brethren, don't forget why we've come to those unenlightened lands. Wrench them out from their defiled homes. Out of their holes in which they hide. They have no purpose but to serve as means for our rituals. And those who would shed the residue of their past, and thus will be free, bring them aboard. Okay, so they are recruiting, so maybe if I somehow deceive them successfully that I'm deranged enough to join them. This discreet, solitary stance assumed by this disciple is, as a matter of fact, the display of a rather unexampled conduct, in that this one is accustomed only to the sight is accustomed to only cite selfless and entranced cult fanatics in rites of worship such as this. He addresses you in a staid undertone. The cult does not welcome the presence of the uncleansed around these parts. I suggest you put an end to your tourist jaunt and take your leave. What are they doing? Those who go round and round like that. Turns to the circumambulating cultist and continues in a sneering tone. My so-called brethren, in reverence of nothingness, trying to be cleansed from their consciousness and memories. Whatever it is that binds them to the person they once were, but tell me, can they truly be cleansed of their minds, so long as they still possess even the tiniest crumb of sanity? It seems it didn't hamper you from joining the ranks. I was always the one caught in between. In the early days, esotericism used to embody my rebellious ideals. How could I have known I would eventually find myself in all of this? What's bothering you? You mean myself? A shadow falls over his face. I've already given up on everything. The years of my spell in the university. The naive times when I foolishly championed the merits of human mind. Now, why would it be me? Frankly, I wasn't expecting to find a man of higher education in such superstitious circles. Why surprised? Isn't the cleansed comprised of people of all walks of life? I was a freshman physicist at Miskatonic before all this. Please do continue, sir, if you don't mind. Haven't we all strayed from the hidden path, from the beaten path since the Black Day? What's your story? I am no one to be wondered about. I've always had a curious mind and a trace of credulity, so it was not surprise to me to find myself in an esoteric circle called Intelligentsia at the university. It was before the Black Day. I had no better option when Asenath Waite, the leader of Intelligentsia, urged me to join the cult after the awakening of the quicksand of meaningless depravity in which I was to sink. I could never have had a provision. Then why don't you resign? Laughed sardonically. Do you think there's a way out of the cult? But frankly, this is not what really worries me. Isn't that in this universe of unknown terrors? It's that in this universe of unknown terrors, I've got nowhere else to seek refuge apart from this dreadfully fanatical sect of hooded adults. A fiery gleam appears in his eyes. Don't you see? The fundamental laws of nature have collapsed. Take Arkham, for instance, a mere pebble compared to Earth, but still we're grounded by the same force of gravity. Look where we are. I don't even know what part of space we're ensnared. Yet we still breathe the damned atmosphere. With what hope? With what do you hope to explain all of this, if not the supernatural? Well, to be honest, on one hand, it sounds like a good point, but theoretically, it could yet be, unexplained science, because the people in ages past had the exact same thoughts about phenomena that we have later explained completely. They were like, take a look at lightning in the sky and the roar of thunder. How else would you explain it if not with gods? Like, surely it cannot be. There has to be a reasoning behind those things. It must be that Thor is, forging something on his anvil, or that Zeus is angry and throwing thunderbolts. And nowadays, we can just explain it, so I disagree. There must be a scientific explanation we're not aware of as of yet. He crosses his arms and looks at you scornfully. And what sort of explanation would that be, sir? Take Einder's theory, for instance. Couldn't all matter in Arkham have dissipated into pure energy for a short duration? Possible, but hypothetical. Einder's theories don't elucidate how Arkham, an entire town, can be wrenched away from the earth and mysteriously appear in the lap of unmeable gods in this corner of the cosmos. The answer may lie in the wave-particle duality and the Schroederman equations. Could it be that the wave functions of the dissipating photons retained all of the information inherent in the particle state, in that they acted like the carrier wave until... But this would require an observant who was present at the perfect instance when all of the subatomic particles reformed at the exact positions in space. Who could this observer be? Well, it could be Cthulhu. Like, by all accounts, he seems to exist. I've seen him, although to be honest, that's not evidence enough for me in reality. Like, if I were to see Cthulhu in reality, I would just assume I've gone insane. I wouldn't believe he exists. This is indeed a scientific enigma worth scrutinizing, don't you agree? With a rekindled fervor in his eyes, he turns to you. Perhaps, he shakes your hand. Thank you, sir, for reflecting the inquisitive light of science on my mind, which was shrouded by the darkness of superstition. I've been a fool. No more of these inhumane, preposterous dogmas. It's time to once again embrace the convictions I once held so dear. To hell with the cult. He starts removing the robe, to which he shoots a final glance of dislike. That's not a great idea. I have a feeling he's going to get killed very shortly. To hell with their dogmas. Yeah, why would you do it? I mean, I understand why he did it in general, but why would you do it right now? Like, don't get me wrong. I am kind of grateful for the robes, because I can pretend to be a cultist, but still, that seemed to me like it carries an awfully high risk of dying. Will you let me into the museum now? An honor to protect our temple. Welcome, cult brethren. The collection of the lost belongings is available to you. Let me see what you've got. Oh, you also sell things. Do you have something interesting? You have a halberd. Uh, 2 to 3 handling 0. My wrench is what? 2 to 4 handling -1. I might buy it. So you see, I'm pretty shit at combat, so being more reliable is probably better than the added damage. It's also pretty cheap. Oh, you'll buy this. It's non-craftable, so sure. Book of Gibberish. The handwritten book full of nonsensical scribblings and meaningless symbols. Non-craftable. Okay, you'll buy the Book of Gibberish for 500. Sure. You may have it. I grant you the right to have it. Oh, handling 0 machete. That's even better. 5%. Though, I'm also kind of... But this is very, very expensive. Yeah, I'll take the occult bonus for the outsider. And how many 6 do I have left? 500. Okay, that's fair. Oh, not enough space. Let's do this. What? I guess I have 0 space left in my inventory. Because those both stack with what I already have. I need to sell something. I guess I'll sell the firewood. Okay, so you can have the occult artifact. And then I'll change my weapon, sell this and buy the machete instead. Okay, I've taken a look at all of those before. Okay, people are getting whipped. Can the outsider also wear them? Because he's kind of conspicuous. He can. That's weird. An honor to protect this temple. Okay, can't get onto the ship. Well, let's try getting into the theater then. Come closer, brethren. I can see that the fruit of renunciation is ripe in some of you. Beyond these doors you'll submit your hearts and purge your souls. How did you come to join our ranks, brother? Like most of us, I was amongst the wretched. We were hundreds. Wandering without purpose like starving dogs. I was fading away, brother, fast. Desperately beating myself up over memories of my useless past. I see. Then I started hearing the word of the high priest, that he started the Hollowed March, and numerous illiterates were training along him and his sheikhs. I was curious and had nothing to lose. Tears come to his eyes. You know the rest. He showed me how worthless I was under the shadow of the Old Ones. How I had always been. The falsity that was my former life had never been whole. Fractures. Always has been. He fervently pushes a scripture into your hands while quoting an alien tongue. Thingly mingle Cthulhu relay Fatang, which is a very well-known passage from Lovecraft. The Pharaines join him as baritones to his hellish chorus. Okay, let's try to repeat that. The hungry expectation in his eyes makes it clear that he wants your participation. Although he isn't exactly wowed by your performance, you manage to pass at least as a third-grade cultist. The group is now too lost in their strange invocation to notice you. I need to get inside. From his attitude, you can see he is carefully weighing your worth. You have zeal, brother, and this is good. Yet I can't help to wonder, have you truly submitted your blood and soul to the cult? Show me your mark of cleansing. Well, I haven't read the scripture you gave me, so I just remembered there's something else that I need to do. Uncover your chest and show me your mark of cleansing, brother. What have you chosen to abandon from your past? Slowly abandon the area. Leave, fledgling, and do not return until you have purged every trace of your false life. Yeah, I should definitely read the scripture that he gave me so that I can understand what the requirements are for, aspiring cultists. Rumored to have been conceived and proclaimed by none other than the enigmatic figure called the High Priest, this manifesto reveres only one thing, the embrace of pain. Okay, I can't really read that. But I'm supposed to mark myself. Now, a lot of them are carrying branding irons, so I imagine I have to find one of those and then literally brand myself. Okay, I will brave this pile of corpses. Well, I shouldn't have done that. I was hoping I would have found something there that would help me in my quest, but not really. I just got diseased for nothing. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm out of food? That's a surprise. Do any of you sell branding irons? Or how can I get a brand? See, he literally requires me to show it to him. I guess I'll try to bullshit him somehow, but I don't think it's going to work. Show me your mark of cleansing. Mark of cleansing. Uncover your chest. And show me your mark of cleansing, brother. What have you chosen to abandon from your past? Yeah, I can't, there's no way to bullshit him. I have to mark myself somehow. I can't get through here without the necessary protection. Like, a lot of them have those branding irons, and to be honest, shouldn't I be able to just tell them that I'm a relatively new initiate and I want to get myself branded as a sign of renunciation of whatever it is that I'm supposed to renunciate, so that they consider me loyal. A collection of spores that was acquired from an infested rock formation. With an inquisitive mind and some knowledge, one could discover much about the new alien flora of Arkham. You know what? I might take this action. You'd think I would benefit from reading this, but I can't. Is there anything new on my map? No. I'll ask Isidore about the cult. Or Krog, actually. You know, Krog is a cultist. Well, a former one, anyway. He probably knows all about their marks of renunciation or whatever. Do you know anything about the mark of cleansing? With an expression of misery, Krog glances over the strange scars on his body before answering. Do I know about them? I have hundreds of them on my body. Barzal Tharg, sometimes I suspect you persuaded me not to kill him as some kind of a cruel joke. The mark is the cult's way of separating you from your past and everything that you once held dear. Initiates usually get 1 or 2 scars. In rarer cases, if the sheiks suspect the initiate is resisting the indoctrination, they may inscribe more. He drops his head with frustration. I'm sure I hold the record, though. But tell me first, by the name of all of the powers, why do you want to bear the mark of cleansing? You wouldn't be asking me if you hadn't joined those deviants' ranks. What are you after? I need to get inside the Arkham Theater. Oh, the Theater of Bones, you mean? You won't be the same person after going inside. You won't be the same person after going inside that haunted place, you know that. Is there a way I can get in painlessly? There is no easy way out of this, initiate. If you want to receive the mark, you must suffer the exact same process I had to suffer. Granted, I've been through it so many times that I can easily perform the ritual, but you should prepare yourself both physically and mentally before we begin. For a brief duration, you think there might be a hint of excitement on Krog's face. It will surely take a toll on you. I'm ready. You think so? I don't think one can ever be completely prepared for such a violation, but let's suppose you are. Now, if you want this to work, listen and absorb my every word from now on. Right before the cleansing ritual, you should choose something from your former life that you're deeply attached to, something that you've turned into a weakness, a liability in this new age. Target the emotion that holds you back the most. Let's suppose that you miss your late mother. According to the cult's creed, you can't be free from your shackles without purging that feeling. If you're attached, you remain a selfish slave to yourself. Look deep inside your persona and find that emotion. Locate the glass room that will shatter with the gentlest touch. The mark will shape itself in accordance to what's inside that glass room. Tell me, what's inside your glass room, child liege? I definitely think overall in life, sort of most encompassingly, it would be self-respect. It has been very difficult to survive while clinging to my self-regard, because the problem with me is that I am both an idealist and a pessimist. Like, I don't really... When I look at the world, and when I look at myself, and I look at the future, I don't really see good things. But at the same time, I am not a nihilist. I don't believe that because the world sucks, it's irrelevant what you do. In fact, I kind of believe the opposite. Like, because the world sucks, it matters a great deal whether you're going to make it suck more by existing in it. So I definitely do try to be a good person. I just, much as everyone, I just fail sometimes. And generally it's, it's complicated, but I would say it's self-respect. The former cultist takes out a piece of iron and holds it in the flame of a ritual candle, while his whispering assumes a resolute but monotonous pace. The past is a bed of thorns, child. You'll stay a prisoner of sorrow, so as long as you cling to the obsolescence of your former self. Cleanse yourself and be reborn as a thrall of the old ones. You are carried back to the realm of consciousness by the throbbing pain. You feel lighter, more shallow. You're alive, but you somehow feel incomplete. Your eyes involuntarily fall to the nexus of your suffering, your chest, where you now carry the mark of cleansing, a pulsating wound scraped upon your flesh, but one which burns your psyche. Krog is standing next to you with a clear look of satisfaction on his face. Ah, you're awake. I don't like that look on your face. I can't count how many times I had to go through this, always the victim, always the cleansed. When you came to me voluntarily asking for this, something in me just ticked. Then it made sense. I understand the guilty pleasure of a father beating his son in return for the beatings he got from his own father. What can I say? For once I had the chance to make someone else feel like I did. In the end, everybody gets what they are looking for. Have anything interesting to sell? Not really. I'll sell this because I don't need it. If I rest in the middle, because what is tripping me off as well, Sonia sometimes appears on this log over here, but she's no longer in my party. I cannot, like, switch. And discovered the malediction of the notes of the occult. I'll check that. During your trek through the desolate Arkham, you lose your way among the labyrinthine ruins. The shadows of tottering walls darken your path, as if this brick of metal intended to devour you, use your lantern to light a way. With the assistance of your trusty lantern's light, you're able to proceed through the maze of ruins. This costs you some time, but you're happy to leave this malignant labyrinth behind. So, what is the malediction of the Notes of the Occult? Decreases maximum sanity. Alright. You have pretty high sanity as it is. I'm not using the spells that often, but this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to save here and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!